Okay. So, for those of you who are not here right now, Ayla, Sam, and Colby, this is what quadrant 4 turned out to look like. Pause if you need it. And this is what quadrant 3 looked like. Pause if you need it. Okay, and now we're going to start writing some stuff on the bottom. It's going to be pretty brief, and then we're going to be done for the day. We're going to be in these two spots over here. You should have made the bottom of your thing kind of look like this, and we're going to be using these two spots. Now, in these two spots, I'm actually going to have two little columns of things over here. I get better at teaching this every single year. All right, so I'm going to write down cosine, just COS. Don't you dare say cos, just cosine. And sine and tangent. And just so you get the spacing right, and we're not going to talk about these today though, over here is going to be secant, cosecant, and cotangent. And that's just to get the spacing right. You might as well write it again over here because we're going to be doing this twice. Take your time with this. Make sure it looks good. This is something that you're going to take with you to, this is like one of the only things you're going to take with you to college from math class. Almost everything else you'll be able to chuck, but not this one.
Hey, Mrs. Nussbaum.
Yeah?
I just joined now. Nothing is working on my computer, like Teams at all. So I'm on my phone, but yeah, I slept in and I called the office.
Okay, Ayla, I've been recording this lesson, so you're going to have to go back and watch it because this is a pretty important one, okay?
Yeah, okay.
Okay, I have no idea what's going on with the computers right now in Teams. I think what it's doing is it's logging you out of Outlook and you have to sign back into Outlook to get back into Teams, but I'm not quite sure. So you might have to talk to the office about that one. Okay. On this one right here, I'm going to write down, and we're only doing these first three. We're not doing the other three. I'm just putting those there for spacing purposes for a different day. Cosine was ka, so that's A over H. And sine, this is Sohcahtoa. I guess I probably should have put sine on top. Sohcahtoa. Waiting for you to catch up. All right, now this is going to be something that you're going to know very well by the end of this, but you might be very confused about right now. And that's the relationship between the sides and the points. Okay, so if I go back to this triangle up here, do you remember that the square root of 3 over 2, that was this distance right here? From there to there? That's the square root of 3 over 2. I'm going to mess my own unit circle up. Don't you dare mess yours up, okay? This right here is this distance. And this right here is this distance. Okay, and you remember that the radius is 1, right? So the cosine of this angle is adjacent over the hypotenuse, which is the square root of 3 over 2 over 1, which is still just the square root of 3 over 2. So essentially, the cosine is this x distance, and the sine is this y distance because that is O over h, which is opposite, that's 1/2, divided by the hypotenuse, which is 1. So down here, I'm going to write that the cosine is the x on every single point. And the sine is the y on every single point. Tangent is harder though. Tangent is opposite over adjacent. Can anybody figure out what I should write for this one? This is a really hard question. That's
Y over X.
yes, y over x, because it's the opposite over the adjacent, oa, right? Toa, opposite over adjacent, which is y over x. So this one is y divided by x. Nice job, David. That's all we're going to write on the unit circle today. You do have some homework and some quick problems, which are actually going to be a cinch once we start getting into them. But I'm just going to pause for a second here to make sure that your answers are correct on your unit circle. And we're leaving these ones blank until Monday. Okay, now I want everybody to open up your advanced math books to page 532.
Five what?
532. I'm going to do some of your homework with you, and you're going to be like, this is one of those assignments where you're going to be like, this is impossible. I don't know how to do any of this. And then you're going to realize that you understand all of it and that it's actually very easy. Okay? So get prepared to be really nervous about this and not understand any of it, and then get prepared to be like, oh, I'm fine. Because that is exactly how you're going to feel. All right, your homework is page 532, numbers 31 through 46, and 63 through 70. But on both of these assignments, we're going to be doing like the whole thing come Monday, but right now you're only going to do any problem that says cosine, sine, or tangent. You can ignore all the ones that say like secant, cosecant, or cotangent. That's not something we're going to worry about until Monday. Right now you're just worrying about the cosine, the sine, and the tangent. Does everybody understand what I want for the assignment so far? A few of you do? Okay. All right, so I'm looking at my book too. And here's what I'm going to do with you. Let's start with number 63. So 63 through 70 is a big table that you're going to copy down in your notebook. And actually it's kind of a nice reference table because it tells you the sine, the cosine, the tangent, the cotangent, the secant, and the cosecant of all of the main functions, or all of the main angles. And remember, we're not going to worry about this cotangent, secant, and cosecant column until Monday. Okay, so your only homework is to do these first 3 columns, and a whole bunch of them are done for you. And I would like to warn you that I would suggest, instead of just being like 63, here's the missing one, I would really suggest you write down like this whole chart in your notebook. Not right now, because I don't have time to wait for that. But this is like something that you probably would want like on a note sheet for a test. It's like a really good reference so that you don't always have to go back and figure it out. So what we're going to try right now is we're going to try tangent of 30 degrees, which is number 63. Okay? So this is number 63. We're doing the tangent of 30 degrees. Now, it says that the sine of 30 degrees was 1/2, and that the cosine was the square root of 3/2, which makes sense because if you go back to your unit circle, you see that the x, which is cosine, is the square root of 3/2, and the y, which is sine, is 1/2.